you decide that we're going to take all of your taxpayer monies, take $1 billion, subsidize a certain type of vehicle, and the batteries come from China. China controls 85% of the rare earth minerals. They're called rare earth because they're measured in parts per million. China is moving 100,000 pounds of earth in Indonesia, in Africa. They're literally destroying the planet so that they can make a battery that's in a car subsidized here. That's why they're striking, because they need 2/3 less workers to build an electric car.
That was Republican Fox Business Network debate talking about the Biden administration's effort to mandate those electric vehicles and how they're hurting American workers. And Governor Burgum is joining us now to talk to us about what is happening today. We're going to get into the strike in just a moment, but first, Governor, great to have you in.
Fantastic, Bianca. Thanks for having me on this beautiful morning.
It looks beautiful out there in Simi Valley, and but today we're focusing a little bit on what's happening as we speak. The impeachment inquiry is ongoing, Governor, in D.C. The witnesses are testifying right now, and we've been watching some coverage here. I want to get your take to how the GOP House has been leading up to this, and I'll play a little bit from the House Ways and Means Chair Jason Smith unveiling some new information about Hunter Biden and his business dealings just yesterday.
It is clear that then Vice President Joe Biden's political power and influence was, quote, the brand that Hunter Biden was selling all over the world.
Governor, the impeachment inquiry has been going on, and the Democrats are attacking. Obviously, Raskin's been very aggressive this morning, saying there's no reason to have this impeachment inquiry. How do you think the GOP will do this first hearing today with the witnesses they have selected to lay the groundwork?
Well, first of all, Bianca, I think this is important work, and it's important for the American people to get to the bottom of this. The evidence that points towards influence peddling from President Biden when he was vice president is really shocking and alarming. And of course, coming from my 30 years of experience in the private sector before I became governor, if you were an officer, a chairman, a CEO, a board member of a public company, and you were trying to benefit your own self, your own personal product, your own family with payments related to the brand of your company, of course, you'd be tossed out. You'd be tossed out immediately. That'd be front page news in the Wall Street Journal and every other thing, because it's absolutely illegal for someone to do that. So we have to hold our public officials at least to the standards that we hold people to in the private sector. I mean, this is absurd.
Well, and Governor, obviously today you are in California. You were at the debate last night. Donald Trump was not there. He chose to go to Michigan to speak to workers in the auto industry, some of them union, some of them not. I want to play a little bit of his speech and talk to you about what is happening with American jobs when it pertains to the auto industry.
What they're doing to the auto industry in Michigan and throughout the country is absolutely horrible and ridiculous. Hundreds of thousands of American jobs, your jobs, will be gone forever because crooked Joe Biden is selling out. But I don't think it's him. I don't think he actually knows what the hell he's doing.
It sounds like you and the former president are actually in agreement on the United Auto Workers strike.
Well, I don't think that Joe Biden has been straightforward with the UAW. I mean, he goes and stands in the picket line and says, I'm with you, but it's actually his energy policies, the extreme left-wing environmental approach that they're taking, where they are trying to sell a story that somehow they're helping the environment by switching to EVs. But this makes no sense. It doesn't make sense from a physics, from an economics, or from a common sense standpoint, because China is the largest polluter in the world by far. China's opening up a coal plant a week. The Washington Post last week had a story praising China for their shift to EV vehicles, never mentioned the source of the power.
Well,
Those EVs in China are powered by coal.
If you were president right now, as you mentioned, Biden making a photo op there, what would you do to end this strike?
Well, I think what we have to do is, with the way you'd end the strike, is just stop paying, because, of course, the workers want a piece of it, because the Biden administration is using all of our taxpayers' dollars, your taxpayer dollars, to subsidize the companies and subsidize the vehicles. They're paying to subsidize the vehicle. The purchaser of a vehicle gets a check. Who's left out on that? The workers are getting left out on that. But all of these subsidizing of a particular kind of car, a car with an electric engine, gets subsidized. One with an internal combustion engine does not get subsidized. A lot of those workers are building internal combustion cars. Their cars are not getting subsidized. Of course, they should be angry, because this is the kind of federal innovation in the markets which distorts things, raises the prices, increases inflation. And when we've subsidized higher education, the price has gone up, but not the quality. When we subsidize healthcare, the price goes up. It doesn't increase in quality. When you subsidize vehicles, the price goes up, but it doesn't make us more competitive. And in this case, it doesn't make the environment cleaner. If you care about the environment, you'd want to have every ounce of energy produced in the United States. The U.S. energy industry has taken more CO2 out of the air than any other industry in the world. They're the reason why the U.S. is the cleanest country in the world in terms of emissions. And it doesn't make any sense at any level other than political opportunism shaded in some kind of, hey, we're saving the planet talk. But the Biden administration, this strike lays at the feet of Joe Biden and his energy policies.
And finally, Governor, just about 30 seconds. Trump also had that big fraud case ruling this week. You've been a very successful businessman. When you look at what the judge ruled, the fact that many people are saying it was an activist judge, it was not a real estate expert, there were disclaimers. Does it seem like an unfair fraud that Attorney General Letitia James got rubber stamped, someone who campaigned to get Trump?
Well, I think, again, these things have to play out in court. But certainly I understand there's wildly different estimates of what real estate can be worth. And this is, again, we've got a problem in America if we've got a two-tier justice system where they're using power and influence to attack political opponents. But again, this will have to play out in court, but innocent until proven guilty. But it's just, again, everybody knows, if you want to value real estate, get multiple different evaluations of what the property's worth. You're going to get multiple answers, and depending on who's paying for it, you're going to get a different answer. If the court was paying for these, they're going to get low numbers. So it's not a surprise to me.
Presidential candidate, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, thank you, sir. Good to have you in today.